Hello everyone, and welcome back to Paper Pleats and Ribbon Roses. This is part 2 of my 6-petaled flower tutorial. This flower is a little bit different than the one that I made previously, just basically because of the shape and the layers that I've used. I've used papers from the Magnifique paper pack, which will be retiring at the end of this month, so if it's paper that you still need, make sure you place your order soon. So let me just put this aside for a second, and we start out with a 2x2 piece of this print, a 1 3/4 by 1 3/4 of the peacock print, and a 1 1/2 and a 1 1/2 peacock print. Okay, so again we're going to fold it as per 6-petal flower. So you fold it in half like this to create your triangle. I want to mark the center, so I'm just going to lightly fold this over and press just the corner here so I can find my center point. And then I'm going to fold each side up like this, and again on this side. And that's for, I'll be cutting my petal out of that. So I'm just going to quickly fold the other 2 pieces. As I mentioned in my other video, your flowers usually end up about the size of the original square that you start with. I've done these as small as 1 inch. You could probably go down a little bit less, maybe 3/4. Okay. And again. All right. So now I'm going to cut my petal, and for this one I'm going to cut it a little rounder than I did the last petal. So I just start at the edge and I cut it as big and round as I can. And I just freehand all of these. If you are concerned about your petal shape, you can always draw a template, except each of these is a different size. So you cut as fairly close to the bottom point, but you don't want to cut all the way through the folds up to the bottom, because then your flower petals will fall apart. And the final one. All right. Now, then you just open each of them up. Okay, come on. There we go. So there's 1. 2. Now, if you find that there's some rough edges on them, you can sort of trim them, or you can use a sanding block and sort of sand down the edges and make them smoother if you like. Now, if you find that, and it happens because of the way that things are folded, if you find that a couple of your petals are joined up quite high, you have 2 options. You can either fold this back like this and then just trim it a little, trim the fold a little bit so that it gives a little more separation to your petals, or you can see here the petals are cut in deeper here than on this side, or you can just cut it slightly on the fold line like that. I kind of prefer the first method because then you don't get this sort of straight line. All right, so after that, you then take your ink. On this particular one I took chocolate and I just inked up the edges of all 3 pieces. The next thing I did was I curled my edges of my petals. Now, I showed you, I do it with this little large toothpick. You know, you can curl your petals that way. You can use the edge of your scissors to curl your petals, or you can use your bone folder to curl your petals. So you would curl all the petals under, like that. Okay. All right. So the next thing I want to show you is then I want to make these, give these even more dimension. So take the back of a mouse pad or your cutting pad here, and turn it over to the foam side. Now you can get styluses. This is a stylus, but you can see that the ends of my stylus is quite small. You can get some that have a larger ball on the end. I happen to have a pen that has a large ball. So what you do is you just place it down onto the foam and push this down into the center of your flower, and it makes the petals sort of stand up, and it gives you some dimension. Okay, so I'm going to do that to all three. Like that. Now don't forget, I haven't inked the edges of these, so that would give it even a nicer look. So then what you do is, because I've done this, I don't know what you'd call it, I don't want to use my Tombow to glue this because it's going to flatten the flower out. So you'd use a little bit of liquid glass. Okay. And then you're going to set your petals in, and you want to offset it so that this petal lies in between two of the others. Okay. So that like that. And one more little dab. Sorry, just wipe my liquid glass off. And again, offset the petals. All right, I'll get rid of this. So there's your flower, and what you then do is you can add whatever center you want. On this particular one, I added a button with some bamboo waxy flax. I mean, you could add a brad, a button, whatever you like, to the center of that. So that's my second 6-petal flower. So again, depending on the size of the squares that you start with, depending upon how many layers you put, you can alternate layers, alternate patterns. I will show you a couple of other different styles in my 8-petal tutorial, which I'm going to do next. Thanks very much for joining me.